Hello, today I want to talk about all the changes in 3.1. The heroes, the items, the enemies, the modifiers, all that fun stuff. Won't be talking about stuff like there being new fonts and whatever. Um, Before we begin, I do want to give a huge shout out to this guy on the Slice and Dice Discord, Tao Dao Heo. They made the 2.0 Almanac, the 3.0 Almanac, and now the 3.1 Almanac. Very cool. And the 3.1 Almanac even lists like, hey, they have little notes of like, hey, here's what changed from 3.1, which very much helped with creating this video. Yeah. I mean, I was in the 3.1 beta, so I already kind of know most of the changes off the top of my head, because I took a good look. But this definitely helped in making sure I didn't miss anything. That being said, I probably did miss something, so definitely let me know in the comments if I did. But yeah, the point of this video is just telling you all about the changes, if you're curious. And then also, it's kind of a little time capsule for me, because I'm also going to give my little initial thoughts on everything. So I'll give my thoughts, and then we can look back on this in like 6 months and go, wow, I was so wrong. So that should be fun too. Apologies if I sound a little off. I'm still a little sick. Did maybe want to leave this video for like Sunday. I know that's usually my whatever video day, but I feel like by then it'd be old news, so I'm gonna do it today. All right, let's get into it. A lot of these I won't have too much to say for, but let's do it. So Scoundrel's 7 HP from 6. It's all right. It's probably the worst tier 1 orange, but I'm not as upset to have them. I guess a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. I will say I am happy that a lot of the tier 1s got buffed. All the really bad ones. Because if there's any hero tier that I want all the heroes to be good, it's tier 1, because it feels really bad to re-roll a perfectly good set of curses because your starting team is so like god awful, right? So very happy to see tier 1 buffs all across the board. The other tiers, I think it's healthy for this game to have bad hero, or like quote unquote bad heroes. I know everyone has their situation, it's all opinions, whatever, but tier 1s especially, I feel like everyone should ideally be decent, right? But yeah, Scoundrel's still the worst tier 1 orange, but it's a little less of a big deal now. Clumsy 6 HP. This is actually a bigger buff than you might think. So first off, it makes it so that Clumsy no longer one-shots herself into thorns just automatically. So super nice for that. And then 2, it makes it so that if Clumsy dies, she comes back at 3 HP and out 2. So very big changes for Clumsy. I think she's actually pretty good now. Let's see, better than Scoundrel, probably better than Dabble. I don't think better than Thief or Loss, but it's kind of close. So yeah, she's in a good spot now, I think. But again, initial impressions might be totally wrong. Maybe she still sucks. Lazy plus 1 HP. I don't know. I'm a little less upset to have this guy, but I still hate him. Alloy, still probably the worst tier 1 gray. So what changed here? The 1 damage self-shield side got replaced for a 1 shield copycat side. Very interesting side to put on tier 1, because usually copycat is strong because you can build your team around it, and usually it's strong in the late game. But like early game, it's entirely random if you have synergy for this thing. And you can also look out, you can start with Meddler, and shield 1 cantrip boned is not a good side, so definitely lock your alloy if you're running that. And then sometimes you're just gonna roll the what's it, a 1 in 36? No, because there's 2 bone sides, there's 1. I don't want to do the math for it, right? But it's not unlikely that you roll this and a bone side, and the bone side lands first, and you know. So I'd be a little afraid of starting with Meddler with Alloy, but Yeah, it's an interesting side. Definitely, I feel like a lot of people are gonna fall into the trap of like trying to build around this. Don't do it. You know, you're getting rid of alloy eventually anyway. That's silly. But yeah. Hey, if you start with Gardener, you can growth. That's pretty cool. You can finally give alloy like 2 pip shields. But the main thing with alloy is he self-energizes with this cantrip, so I think how you play alloy now is you just roll him down all the way for these cantrip shields. Because it doesn't really matter what you land on. There's no risk of like, oh, well, someone's dying exactly, but I have this 1 damage self shield. That's no longer a thing. You're always getting 1 shield out of this guy. The biggest difference is maybe you need this to save someone, or maybe you need a cleave to save 2 people, or rarely a poison. I don't know. You know, there's cases for everything, right? Uh, that being said, all that yapping, alloy still sucks. 4 HP and 1 shield at a time gimmick on the same guy is always going to make this guy really bad because he can't save anyone. Yeah, I don't feel like this changes much. All right, Cultist. So Cultist lost a pip on his 4 mana side and then gained a pip on his 1 mana side. So he's just kind of a bit more average with his mana gain. So it's 3 or 2 now instead of 4, 3, 2, or 1. 3's a pretty good spot anyway. I know 4 mana is really cool because you can get 2 burst, but you can still cut and burst with 3 mana, so it's pretty decent. I like it a lot. It does mean that it's a little, how do I put it? You do have to babysit cultists a little more, I think. Is that right? No, not really. I was thinking about the 1 pip mana side. Like, you can sometimes get away with using that, but you can't. Like, you can't do mana with cultists without any babysitting anymore. But I guess that was true already with the 4 mana. I'm kind of rambling on this. Cultist is still really strong. Prodigy got an insane makeover. So, he now has these 2/1 mana pair sides. This revive mana gain side, which has actually been in the game forever, by the way. It just never has been used. And then 2 1-mana single use sides, and then this weird like 2 damage, 2 self damage mandatory side. So their sides is basically just better mage, because you're very often getting 2 mana out of this guy, which is, you know, great. This side you're probably not hitting, but it definitely kind of limits what you can roll. You know, if you're on your last roll, it's a little scary to take the 1 in 6 that you not only blank, but also take 2 damage for it. But he also has 5 HP, and a revive. And like his spell is slightly worse than mage, but I don't know. I feel like this guy is just better mage now, which is, you know, not a big deal, but interesting. We'll see how he plays out though. Spade got -1 HP. Probably deserved. This is mostly, I don't know. He was like the easiest way to like win hell, and also like the early game's pretty much unlosable with Spade. I get it, but I feel like this guy still makes your early game unlosable. Primrose actually got a nerf, if you can believe it. So he lost, I believe, one of these heal 1 growth sides. So, yeah, maybe Primrose was OP, I guess. I didn't really feel like he was. I feel like he's kind of whatever, and he's still kind of whatever. He's like a fine tier 1, I guess. I guess maybe it was like, it was too easy to just roll this guy down for your growing side. So now with the blank, he's a little worse. I don't know. I still feel like he's kind of just whatever. All right, let's talk about the tier 2s. There was a lot of changes here. I think the most, yeah. Okay. So, apologies for my pause, by the way. So sick. All right. So, Gambler gained +1 pip to the middle side. It's an alright change. Yeah. If I get Longbow or something, I'll be pretty happy to play Gambler. If I ran him into Gambler, I'm still probably gonna be upset, but 3's a nice number to hit. It's alright. She's still probably the worst, like, on average, orange character, but she's not as bad anymore. 3 is a good number. Speaking of 3, here's Dabbler. They got a -1 HP nerf. Honestly, justified. 9 HP was pretty cracked for a tier 2. That just kind of did everything. Yeah. Next up is Scrapper. They also got a -1 HP nerf. Justified. Scrapper was really good. Whirl got a +1 HP. Yeah, Whirl wasn't very good. They're still not very good, but at least they got a little more HP. Yeah. Knight lost 2 HP. But they're still really, really good. And again, this is initial thoughts. I still think he's the best gray. I still think that is true. Bard so first off, the damage and the shield swapped places, and then also the shield is 2 instead of 1 now. So yeah, he's still not very good. I think he still has the issue of like only doing 1 shield and 6 HP. Again, very similar problems to Alloy. And then also there's the fact that this is a cantrip shield, which means like, sorry for all the pauses, which means that like if your Glacia is getting hit by like 1 damage B and your Bard is getting overkilled by like +3, this can go to the Glacia. So cantrip shields are just kind of unreliable, but it's definitely an improvement. You know, this is a 4 shield side now. That's not bad. And he brings else, but it's still a little, you know, these sides don't do too much. I think he's still pretty terrible, but we'll see. Pilgrim lost an HP. I don't really know why. I never thought Pilgrim was like amazing or terrible, but I don't know, maybe he overperformed. I think he's about the same. Faye gained an HP. I'm not as scared to click her, I think 5 HP was just like a really bad spot to be in. 6 HP, it's still not great. Let's not kid ourselves, but she's probably a little better now. Vampire. The sides themselves didn't change, or the HP, but the spell changed. So Cruel got swapped for Terminal, ×2 versus targets on 1 HP. I think it's an interesting conditional for sure. And definitely justified. You know, Vampire had amazing sides already, and then just like the best tier 2 spell in the game. So very justified to make the spell a bit worse. I do wonder if this is just going to become basically what if Restore was a tier 2 spell, because this conditional, in my experience so far, has been kind of hard to hit, but I also might not just be playing him right, so we'll see. Enchanter, the blank sides got replaced with add self-heal, so that's pretty nice. And then also she gained an HP, so it's alright. I do like wish these sides were like, I don't know, like different art, because I have to click on Enchanter every single time to see if she rolled the side that flips to this side or the side that flips to this side. Drives me mad. I think she's actually not that bad now, though. It definitely depends on your team. This is a super team dependent character. If you're running Berserker, she's good. If you're running, you know, Spellblade, not very good. But yeah. Jester gained an HP. Is still probably not that great. Seer actually got buffed, which I'm surprised by, because I already thought Seer was pretty good. But they gained this dodge side. I don't think it's a huge deal, but it's interesting. They're definitely a little better now, I guess. Evoker is a fucking like brick now. He gained 2 HP. He's 10 HP now. He's blue statue. I still don't think he's very good, but my current prediction, we'll see how it plays out, of course, is that Fiend is now the worst tier 2 blue. I might be wrong, but like, this guy looks awful compared to Evoker and Jester now. I don't know. Poor Fiend. We'll see how it shakes out though, for sure. Alright, more greens. So, presents. Let's see. So the blank side got replaced with add poison, and then stuff got shifted around. Add poison's a super strong side. Very, very good change. Presence is a lot better now. Now that I'm actually talking about more greens, I'll give my initial thoughts on them. I'll give my thoughts on greens as a whole at the end. Sorry. Coffin, their sides got swapped out, so they're not as like terrible anymore. This used to be shield 2 and then 1 damage single use, 1 damage single use. Now it's 4 shield pan, 4 shield pan, shield 1 repel, 2 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage single use. So not too bad. And generated heroes, that's also worth noting, got buffed. So your tier 0 is a little bit better. It still probably suck, obviously. They're tier 0, but a little bit better now. Not as gambly, it seems. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have thoughts on greens because I didn't really play with them much before. I only really played them in silly modes, but I definitely need to play greens in this update and see how I feel about them again. Because I played them at the start of 3.0 and I was like, yeah, these kind of suck for win streaking. Sphere lost an HP, justified. This guy is still pretty crazy. 2 rerolls on the same character is gonna break stuff very consistently. Alien, I love the reworked sides here. So instead of basically just being lazy, but with a 5 shield and 2 cleanse 2 sides, they now have this target enemy poison side. Very good change. 2 poison, great. They have, and then just, 3 damage, 3 shield, and then only 1 cleanse side, but honestly that's fine. Yeah, they don't look too bad now. Pretty cool. And then statue went from 20 HP to 25. So if you have items for statue, they are even better now. It still doesn't change the fact that you need items for statue, but if you have the items, she's even better. Wow. Yeah, so that's all the tier 2s. As a whole, I'm a big fan of all these changes. Pilgrim, I still don't really understand why. Maybe he really was secretly OP. But yeah, very, very good changes as a whole. Alright, tier 3s. So, Ludus gained an HP. I don't know. She's still not great. But I think she's like sharp shot tier now instead of like Ludus. Ludus tier now. She's definitely like the bottom end of oranges. Again, initial thoughts. Sorry, I shouldn't be repeating that so much, but obviously this could change. Maybe Luce is OP now. I doubt it. It's 1 HP. Speaking of 1 HP differences, Agent lost an HP. Agent is still really, really good. Barbarian lost 2 HP. Interesting change for sure. I still think Barbarian's good. There's a lot of items to cancel out the pain already, and if you have a good enough team, you can also just babysit this guy. Yeah, I still think he's solid, but he was definitely like a very strong yellow. I'm not surprised to see him nerfed a little bit. Eccentric gained 1 HP. Yep, he's still bad. Sorry. Wanderer, interesting change. Lost a Defy side, and then the copycat shields got shifted over. I've seen some like crazy takes of like Wanderer is now the worst tier 3 yellow. That's insane. Nah, come on. first off, these are really good sides. I think that the biggest change is now you can't just roll down Wanderer, because the main strength of Wanderer before is that all of his sides were pretty solid and you could just roll them down. But now you have a chance of rolling a blank, so that's a lot worse. This is mostly a joke, but I have been joking that the biggest nerf here is that you can no longer run Shuriken on Wanderer and have it be like insane. But yeah, only having one Defy side is obviously a shame, but justified. And I think this is just going to lend Wanderer to a more defensive style of play, which is, I'm going to be honest, I think the way you should have been playing him already anyway. The Defy side, it's really cool, but it was definitely like a little RNG based for the purposes of streaking. So, in my mind, he's still the same. But for you Defy fans, obviously, this is a very sad day. What a shame. But he's, in my opinion, still probably. I think he's still the best yellow in the game. We'll see though. We'll see how it shakes out. Valkyrie gained a revive one side instead of a blank. She's a little better now. It's definitely nice to have a more consistent revive instead of hoping to God you roll this side and then Valkyrie doesn't and just stares at you with a 4 damage side. Yeah. I still don't think she's great, but I'm not as upset if I'm forced into picking her anymore. Prince got a pretty big makeover. So his top and bottom sides are now this heal and shield 3 instead of the right. And he has 2 blanks now, the right too. Yeah, Unite's unchanged. But just more consistent shielding out of this guy is pretty nice. Like, these are very good shield sides. But he does really only have 2 of them. This duplicate shield is not great. You can obviously use it last, but sometimes that fucks things up. The Inspire sides, whatever. They're basically just kind of freaky Paladin now with 3 less HP. Prince also lost some HP, by the way. Yeah. But I don't think I'm like upset to get Prince anymore. And first off, let me finish talking about the Greys. So Poet lost 1 HP. I don't think it matters. So Greys as a whole, now all the tier 3s are pretty solid. So I don't know. I think tier 3 Grey is largely going to be the role of like, I don't really care what I get. They all do their job. I'll take it when the other option is much, much worse. But that's my prediction anyway. Next up is Doctor. He lost an HP. He's still really good. Next up is Fate. She lost an HP. Still really good. Next up is Surgeon. She lost an HP. Can you guess? Still really good. Ace gained these 1 mana sides on their top and bottom sides. It's a little nice. They have a bit more item synergy now. I know. Now they don't do Wrist Blade or, Fairy Dust, but you can run like Simplicity on them and they're okay. Or like, fucking, I don't know. There's definitely some, you can run Sparks, I guess. Sure. Is Ace not the worst blue in the game? No. Next up is Warlock. Yes, even Gas is better. I'm sorry. You want my real hot take? You ready for this one? People aren't ready to hear this one. Artificer is worse than Gase. Gase? What am I saying? Artificer is worse than Ghast. You want to hear a real spicy take? Maybe even Cronus. Okay, I don't know about that one. I think I might be lying to myself even with that one. But anyway, sorry. This isn't about you, Ghast. This is about Warlock, who lost an HP. They're still really good. Yep. They're a little harder to babysit now because they have a cap of 7 instead of a cap of 8, but yeah, not really. Vessel, now instead of having a 5 damage death over here, has 5 damage on the top and bottom. Their trait is still the same. Yeah, I think they're about the same. I did see someone arguing that they might even be worse now because this is not a great side, and a good chunk of the time when you're clicking on Vessel, it's because you want blanks, I guess, for like Wristblade or Fairy Dust. So, I guess I saw someone saying they're basically the tier 3 statue. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I can get the argument that these sides are worse than before. Next up is Tainted, who now has a dodge in the middle, lost 1 HP, and then on pick gain a random tier 3 curse instead of a tier 4. This is still really bad. You can just brick your run. Hold on, let me go find it. Someone posted a list earlier of all the really bad ones you can get. Here we go. So you can get Spider Soul. You can get Top Hero 1 HP. You can get turn 3 Death. The third turn, all heroes add Death to all sides. You can get Worst, which is single cast a burst. That's not as big of a deal as these other ones, but it definitely fucks up if you have Burst as a plan. You can get Slow Spells 2, maximum of 2 spells each turn. You can get Mundane, you can get Middle Hero 1 HP, you can get Bottom Hero 1 HP, and then you're ready for the big one? Back to basics. Remove all keywords from all sides. Yeah, this guy's still unpickable. But yeah, that's all the hero changes. Now we're going to talk about the items. I don't have a whole lot to say about the items, so we're kind of just going to breeze through those. But yeah, here we go. First up is Curse Bolt. This was moved to a tier 2, and now it does 2 self-damage. This is horrific for a 2. But I'm glad to see it out of early curses because it was a really bad early curse too. Tracked now spawns 2 wolves on death. This is actually kind of scary. Losing a character and having to fight 2 wolves in the early game is pretty brutal, but obviously in the late game this doesn't matter at all, and it also has to be on a character who dies. So inside there are 2 wolves. Eggshell is now a tier 0, not a tier 4. It gives a -1 to the right side and adds 0 to it. So running on like Barbarian, I guess. Learn Niche is now, instead of 41 HP, it's 46. And the hand, by the way, spoilers for that change, is now 45 HP. Name Tag is a new tier 0. Keeps your old name when leveling up. Shovel Bite is a new tier 0. Level ups into Spade. So if you put this on like Scoundrel, your next level up, Scoundrel will become Spade, or that'll be an option. Anchor now only shields for 1 instead of 2. It's definitely a bit worse, but it's alright. Autumn Leaf is now tier 1. I still think it's pretty bad. Coin, I love this change. Coin has so many better combos now. You wanna know what's really funny though? This is now the most fucked up roulette fixer. You just get super unlucky and hope that it's a blank. Let's go gambling. Yeah. Fletching's a tier 1. It's still not great. Infused Herbs now boosts instead of regens, which means you can use it better with Inner Strength. And also boost is a bit better than the regen anyway. Pillow is now a tier 1. It continues its descent down the tiers. By 4.0, this will be a curse item probably. Wand of Wand is now left side, so hey, I'm actually going to pick this thing now for roulette. Cleft now affects the 2 left sides. Great change. I love this. This actually works on more stuff. It doesn't affect too much more, to be fair, but a bit to make this actually worth it a lot of the time, like prospectively. Clover is now a tier 2. It's still not great, but you know. And of course, I haven't had the time to notice if there's new item combos, like maybe there's more placers in tier 3, and that's why Clover is better now, but this is just my initial thoughts. Of course, Clumsy Hammer now deals 5 damage. Yep, still Clumsy Hammer. You bet. Again, continuing its descent down. This used to be a tier 6. It's still not great. But as a tier 2, maybe. Probably not. This thing's still awful. Power Stone. So all the color only items got changed to equipable on anyone, but they only do their effect if you equip them to the specific color. And then also Power Stone is a tier 2 now. So yeah, it's still not great, but I might pick this prospectively now. We'll see what happens. Syringe is a tier 2. I don't really think it matters. Tower Shield is now Shield 10 instead of Shield 7, so it's just even more Dogma value, which is basically what this item was already. Wild Seeds is now a tier 2 instead of a tier 3, so good change. I like this item, but it definitely was kind of hard to click as a tier 3. Anti-Venom's now a tier 3. This is a great tier 3. I don't know. I feel like this is a very strong one, but we'll see what happens. Buckler moved from tier 2 to tier 3. Very justified. Buckler was like usable on basically every gray. Dynamo moved from tier 4 to tier 3, so good change. Still don't love this item, but it's definitely a little more pickable. Fangs moved from tier 4 to tier 3. Good change. You do lose the pocket phylactery combo now, I guess, but yeah, it's alright. Flickering Blade moved from tier 2 to 3. Justified. This was a very strong tier 2. Foil also moved from tier 2 to tier 3. Yeah, also justified. Full Moon moved from tier 4 to tier 3. This is definitely a lot more pickable now, because at tier 4 it was a little hard to click on because you're at the point in the game where like you're about to get into your tier 3s, and like basically no tier 3 wants this item, so very good change. Kilt is now a tier 3 instead of a tier 2. Yep, justified. Item was very strong. Obel is now a tier 3, so nice change. Pocket Phylactery now gives 5 HP instead of 6, so it's a little harder to use now. Not really, though. It's still about the same. Polearm, sad day, is a tier 3 instead of a tier 2. It's still amazing. Relic was moved from tier 4 to tier 3. Terrarium is a tier 3 now instead of a tier 2. It's still very good. Oh yeah, I didn't really comment on Relic. Yeah, it's still terrible. Cocoon, I'm kind of surprised to see. I think the general consensus on this item is very torn. Some people love this item, some people like hate it. I think it's okay depending on your team, but now that's a tier 4, I think I might click this thing a lot more. Enchanted Shield is a 4 now. It's interesting. I still think it's pretty good. Alrighty. Gizmo is a tier 4 instead of a tier 5. A lot more pickable now. And I'm happy for it because I love Shifter. It's a very goofy keyword. Harpoon was moved to a tier 4 instead of a tier 3. Very good tier 3, it makes sense. Pauldron was moved down 1 tier to tier 4. Yep, still pretty bad, but pickable more now. Short Sword bumped up to tier 4. Justified. Short Sword is really good. Wristblade also bumped up for the same reason. Candle was bumped down. Happy to see it. It definitely felt a little out of place in the tier 6s, as did Cauldron, which was also bumped down to tier 5 now. Cracked Plate was bumped up to a tier 5. I don't know about this one. I didn't feel like Crackplate was... No, Crackplate's really strong. What am I saying? Yeah, okay. I get it. I don't know. Yeah, I think I get it. Determination was moved down a tier. Justified. I still don't love this item, but maybe I'll pick up more. Dragon Hide was moved up a tier. Justified, very strong item. Enhanced one was moved down a tier. I still don't think I'm gonna click it. I'm sorry, but maybe. Idol of Ayu, interesting change, was moved to tier 5. It's interesting because this was basically just chainmail. And then very nichely, it was +1 HP over chainmail. And chainmail's still a tier 4. So I don't really get why this was changed, but I'm not gonna complain because chainmail is still like the best tier 4. So getting it as a tier 5 isn't like the end of the world. It's all right. So this item didn't change at all actually, but the name changed. In 3.0, this was named Doomblade. Its name was changed because there was already an item called Doomblade, but it was Doom Space Blade, not Doomblade, all one word. So now it's called Justice. Magic Staff is now a tier 5. I don't know about this one. I feel like Magic Staff might be kind of hard to pick now, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I think it'll still be pretty good. Natural is now a tier 5, and then of course, you know, the color changes. Very justified. You can put this on literally every single tier. Sorry, every single blue, and they are happy. Soup was moved to tier 5. Justified is very strong. Tiara is a tier 5, which I'm kind of surprised. Because I looked and inner strength wasn't changed, and this is kind of the same thing, but you know, nichely, you know, you just get self-heal on mana sides instead. So interesting change. I think it's still pretty good. Water moved down a tier. I have clicked on this item in Blur Terra a couple of times. That's mostly what I've been playing. I've been grinding that out. It's all right now. I don't mind it. Burning Halo moved down a tier. It's still not great. Demon Claw moved down a tier. It's still not great. Katar moved down 2 tiers. Guess what? It's still not great. But I think I might click it a little more. For sure. I think sometimes you can pick this definitely as a tier 6. Sponge was moved up a tier. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think Sponge was like crazy good. But I think I'll still pick this as a 6. Troll Blood was moved down a tier. Justified, it was a pretty sad 7. I think it's a pretty good item for a 6 for sure. Though it is a little weird to have Troll Blood and Ghost Shield in the same tier, because I feel like, I don't know. Is regen or starting with shields better? That is the question. I feel like regen is better, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about that one too much. Wooden Bracelet moved it down a tier. Good change. It's still basically Simplicity, about 1 tier higher, but at least it's not a tier 7. Alright, last few items to go. Brimstone moved down a tier. It's still very niche and not great. Eucalyptus, I'm kind of surprised to see bumped up a tier. I don't know, this item wasn't bad, but I didn't think it was like crazy OP either. But you know, maybe Tan has access to some data that I don't, and this was like an item with an 100% win rate or some crazy shit like that. I don't know. It's a good item, and I think I'll still pick it as a 7, but Hourglass was changed to tier 7. Yeah, makes sense. Jeweled Loop moved to a tier 7, justified. Sparks, I feel like this could have stayed a tier 6, but maybe that's just cope. I feel like Jeweled Loop was definitely the stronger of the two. But maybe they're both tier 7 to prevent the combo of Jeweled Loop plus Sparks, you know? Boots of Speed moved up a tier. So, I think I'll still pick it, but I don't know. Yeah, Boots of Speed was really good. Yeah, alright, never mind. Ornate Hill moved up a tier. It's great, yeah. Still a really good item. Egg Basket. Fucking vomit. This used to be a tier 10. It should have stayed at tier 10. This is awful. I know, that's a weird sentence. This item should be a higher tier because it's bad. Please. I don't want a random into Egg Basket. Please spare me. I don't want this thing in my life. I hate it. I will say, Bowl Stonks, the tier 1 item, Bowl, just went way up. Very happy for it. What other items help? Like side replacers, I guess. So you get like longsword. Hey, longsword value up. Short sword value up. I hate this thing. Is it worse than Spike Stone? Yes, I think so. Maybe. It's close. I don't like this one because it's like RNG after you press start fight. This is like, oh, you're intentionally fucking up your RNG, idiot. Whereas this one's like, oh, the game just decided all these sides are going to be blank this turn. So I don't know. It's close. Which one I hate more? I think it's Egg Basket, though. I think this is my new most hated tier 9. Poison Dip was moved to a tier 9 instead of a tier 8. So Poison's a bit less common now, because previously you could get this at tier 8 and tier 9. Serration jumped up 2 whole tiers, I believe. Am I wrong? I am wrong. This was a tier 8 before. Yeah, it's a good item. Shiny Gauntlets moved down a tier. So now it's a tier 9. It's a pretty cool tier 9. I like it. I think it'll be decently strong. Spike Stone now affects the 2 right sides also. I don't feel like this changes much. I still hate this item. It's bad for win streaking because the game randomly decided you don't get to do anything this turn is not good for consistently winning. I know, shocking. That being said, affecting the 2 right sides does matter a little for stuff like Wizard. I think I might run this on its own without any way to like get around the fumble, but it's kind of close even still. I think I'd run it though. But that's the only real character I can think of where the right 2 changes how I view this item. Wax Seal is now a tier 9. I don't know about this one. I personally like Wax Seal has a very high ceiling, but very often it's just like a weird Eye of Horus that doesn't affect it everything. It just affects most of everything. So interesting change for sure. I think it'll still be pretty good as a tier 9. It was a great tier 8. So, and then finally, tier 13, Titan Bane Amulet. This was changed from add to spell to all sides. Now it's add to spell to all sides with 5 or more items. Oh boy. How long is this video? Oh boy, 40 minutes. And I haven't even gotten to the curses. Alright, so that's the main big parts down. I'm sure that's the parts people are most interested in. But I'll run through the curses real quick. I don't have a whole lot to say about most of these, so it should go by pretty quickly. Death Shield 1. This is a 1-point curse instead of a 2 now. I think it's kind of yucky for like early curses, but it's not the end of the world. I wouldn't random away from it. Doom 8 is gone, and now our 1-point Doom curse is Doom 7. It's also a little scary for early curses because you definitely can't have fights that go to turn 8. Like Lich or Basalt or Inevitable. But it's pretty unlikely, and so this is usually a free curse. Horde was changed from 30% space to 50% space. Still doesn't matter. This curse is free. It doesn't do anything like 99% of the time. Mana debt. This was changed from 3 mana, yeah, if you can believe it, plus 3 mana on the third spell to only 1 mana. Thank God. Very good change. Now it actually, it's a 1-point curse. Okay. Skip rewards 4. This used to be skip rewards 5. And it was a 2-point curse. Now it's a 1-point curse with skip rewards 4. It's definitely a lot worse because losing out on a hero is a lot worse than losing out on like a tier 2 item. And it's also only now a 1-point curse. I do wonder if this can show up with early curses. My guess is no, because you can get it on fight 4 and just like pick your hero and then take your curse, and I'm sure that like fucks with it, so it's just not allowed to. Tower 3, this used to be Tower 4, so minus 1 HP. I don't think it really matters all that much. Worst, this was changed from cooldown to burst to the second turn no burst. Very, very good change. Love it. Yeah. Thank God 3-pit pain is now a 2-point curse. Hallelujah. It's gone. Big Hitter 9 is now a 2-point curse instead of a 1-point curse, but don't worry, Big Hitter is still in the 1-point curse pool. We'll get to the new curses in a bit. Curse Bolt, it was moved to a tier 2 cursed item and now deals 2 self-damage on each ability cast. I'm mostly glad for this change because it means it doesn't show up in early curses anymore, and this was definitely like a pretty nasty early curse. This is a horrific too, though. Alright. Portal 9, this was moved from tier 3 to tier 2. Yep. It's not that bad. Still, doesn't matter most of the time. Restless Bones. This now summons 2 bones upon death. So it's definitely a lot worse. But it's not a huge deal. Tower 7. This used to be Tower 10. Yeah, not much difference, to be honest. I haven't really looked at the Slime Queen breakpoints for these except for the new 4-point tower. Worst 2. This used to be Deplete on burst. Now it's cooldown. It's kind of yucky, but whatever. At least it somewhat fits a tier 2 now. Back to Basics got moved from a... Sorry. This used to be a tier 2. Now it's a tier 3. So, I believe that's what it was in 2.0. I might be wrong. Maybe. Big Hitter 8. This used to be for 3-point curses anyway. This used to... Or sorry. This used to be a tier 2 curse. Now it's a tier 3. So, it's still unpickable because the hand has a 10 cleave. No, thank you. Hero Immunity. This was a tier 2, if you can believe it. So this makes you immune to spells, by the way, so you can't burst defensively. Mana Debt 3 for 3. This is a 3-point curse now. Good change. Very good change. Or sorry, hold on. Okay, I got it mixed up. Okay, sorry. So this used to be the 3-point mana debt used to be the first spell cost plus 2 mana. Now it's the third spell cost plus 3. So good change. I like it more now. Mortal 8, very sad to see, has been moved from a tier 4 to a tier 3. This was a super... I shouldn't say super easy, but it was a pretty easy 4 in 3.0. Reduced defense used to be a 2, if you can believe it. And if you can believe it, this curse is deceptively horrific. It just killed a blurter run of mine. It's so bad. Static Blinks, also rest in peace to a real one. This was the easiest curse in 3.0. 4-point curses anyway. Tower 16, this used to be Tower 16. Now it's Tower 12. Yeah, still not great. Big Hitter 7 is the new 4-point Big Hitter curse. This used to be a tier 3. It's still really bad because the hand damage to all attack is exactly 7. So don't click this. And even if it was Big Hitter 8, the hand still hits 10 cleave. So don't pick it. Don't pick any version of Big Hitter except the new one. I feel like that one's maybe okay. Depleted spells, add deplete all spells. This sounds really bad, but we'll see. I haven't played it, admittedly. By 14 curse, this now is 8 or 7, so it's a little bit different now. I need to check, the curse, I guess, variants for that. Voix said it's a little bit better now. It's not a horror anymore, so I'll have to try it, maybe. Mana Debt, our new 4-point Mana Debt is the first spell cost plus 2 mana. Instead of, let's see, what was it originally? It was plus 3 mana. So it's a lot easier to break out of debt now, even though it's only a 1 mana difference. Very good change. Monster HP plus 1, let's go. Is now a 4. Wow, I don't have to play Myriad hard to see this like super easy curse anymore. Very happy to see it. Rightmost Caltrops, move from tier 3 to tier 4. Move it back, please. This is fucking horrible. So 1, it's replacing a Rightmost with a Caltrop. That's already really bad. 2, inflict exert, inflict death. That's all. Send tweet. You wanna fight Inevitable and watch as he cleave, inflicts, exert, and then all 3 of those heroes roll exert. I don't. And then all take 1 damage as your little cherry on top. I don't. That sounds horrible. Sickly 2. This in 3.0 is Sickly 3. Yeah, I think it's pickable now. Voix was a big fan of Sickly 3, so I'm sure he'll love this one. I think I might play this now. Alright, so Tough HP 1. This used to be a 7. Very happy to see it move down, because this is I think this will be a pretty fun curse to play around. I like it. Okay, Tower 17. This used to be Tower 23. It's still unpickable. Slime Queen has a cool, even 30 HP with this. No, thank you. Alright, Worst 4. This is now the first 2 turns, no burst. It used to be, sorry, what am I thinking of? Or sorry, this used to be just no burst. So yeah, a lot better now. You can, like Seer is not unplayable with this anymore because you can just foretell for the first 2 turns. That's really cool. Great change. I might play this now. Alright. Barricade moved to a 4-point curse, justified. Big Hitter 6, no. Sorry, I should say what changed. It's not like I'm picking the curses here. What am I saying? Sorry. This used to be a tier 4, so. Alright, expensive spells used to be a tier 4, now it's a tier 5. Yep, it's pretty bad, I understand why. Heavy weapons used to be a 4, now it's a 5. Same thing, it's pretty bad. Mana Debt, so the tier 5 version of this used to be the first, or sorry, the tier 5 version of this used to be the second spell cost plus 5 mana, now it's the first spell cost plus 3 mana. So, it's very bad, yep. Alright, Mortal 7. This used to, hold on, sorry for the pause. Okay, this used to be a 6, now it's a 5. This is like deceptively not that bad. There's a very big breakpoint in Mortal 8 versus Mortal 7, and his name is Dragon. You can't block against Dragon, the bite attack. It will always kill you unless you have like Death Defy or Dodge, because you can only have a maximum of 14 like HP and shields against that thing. So Important breakpoint. I still don't think this will be that bad though. Stone First bumped up from 4 to 5. Very justified. Fourth Death. This used to be a tier 5. Yeah, I did not like seeing this thing in Myriad. Yucky. Very justified. Big Hitter 5. This used to be a tier 5. Yep, still bad. Still absolutely terrible. Mana debt 5 per 2. The 6-point mana debt used to be the first spell cost plus 4 mana. So, this is still awful. Sorry, I don't have too much to say about most of these except that they're still awful. Sickly got bumped up to a 6. I don't know, man. I think I was right when I said that this thing is horrible. I don't know if Voix was is cooking when he says that this curse is easy back in 3.0, but I don't know. Admittedly, I only played it a couple of times and I wrote it off because it was really bad. Who knows? Maybe it really was free. But then again, why would it get bumped up if it was free? Alright. Spiky Monsters 2 is now a 6 instead of a 7. That makes sense. This really isn't that bad. 4 HP, bumped up 3 tiers. Yeah. I still don't know if this is pickable even at a 7. I'm gonna be real. Bottom Caltrops moved from 6 to 7. Makes sense. It's pretty yucky. The 7-point mana debt is now... Sorry, hold on. Or sorry, this used to be the first spell cost plus 6 mana. Now it's plus 4. It's makes a little more sense now. You can maybe actually break out of that debt. Monster HP plus 2. This used to be a 10-point curse. It was definitely like the easiest unfair curse in the game. It makes sense that it was brought down quite a bit. But yeah, this is a pretty easy curse. I will say it does matter into Slime Queen, so be aware of her. Mortal 6. A lot of the curses from here on, I don't have any opinions on because I've never really played them. But I'll tell you about what changed anyway. So this used to be an 8. Third Death. This used to be a tier 7. Heavy Dice 1. Used to be a tier 10, and now it's a tier 8. That makes sense. This was also one I played in Unfair a little bit. Pretty consistently. Lowest Exert was bumped up from 7 to 8. Monster Shields 2 was bumped up from 7 to 8. Makes sense. This one's kind of brutal to try and get around. Tough HP 2 was bumped down 4 tiers. Yeah, makes sense. This is not a very hard curse. Doom, let's see, Doom on the 3rd turn is now a 9 instead of an 8. Mortal 5 is now a, sorry, what am I looking for? Oh, the music stopped. Sorry about that. I know this video is running a little long. I didn't realize there was so much to cover. Alright, this used to be a 10. Right to Caltrops. This used to be a tier 8. I'm glad it's out of the, again, like, the Fight 14 curse. This is now not one of them, which is kind of nice. First turn immune monsters. This was a tier 11 that got bumped down. Yeah, makes sense. I don't think this is that bad. Left Caltrop. This used to be a 9, now it's a 10. Monster HP 3. This used to be a 16. So I guess this is the unfair curse now. Because this doesn't seem that bad, but maybe it's kind of tough. Alright. Monster Row. This used to be a tier 14. So it was this, I believe it was the same curse rating as Monster, just +2 to all sides, which was kind of funny. Makes sense that got moved around. Mortal 4 was a 13 before, and now it's an 11? Huh. Who the fuck is winning with Mortal 4? I guess you just like infinite or something? Alright. Tough HP 3. This used to be a tier 17. I love how like drastically changed the tough HP curses are, because yeah, they were not very hard at all. Alright. Second death used to be a 10, so very glad this is out of unfair. Monster shields 3 used to be an 11. Double monster HP. This used to be a 20, now it's a 13. Interesting change. I do know that a lot of the Hellwinds were using this, because again, adding HP to monsters isn't that bad. Monster HP +4, this used to be a 21, now it's a 13 for, I assume, similar reasons. Spiky Monsters 5, this used to be a 14, now it's a 13. I guess, you know, you just use spells. This does nothing. Tough HP 4, this used to be a 21. Wow. Damn. Mortal 3 used to be a 17. Monster HP 5 used to be a 26. So this is a 10-point difference. I think that's the biggest one so far. And then Mortal 2 used to be a 21. Now it's 19. Who the fuck is winning with Mortal 2? All right. Now we get to talk about the new shit. So, or sorry, we're still talking about changes. So, but now we're talking about tweaks. So power up, the plus HP is now gone. Roll bank is now 6 rerolls instead of, I think it was 5 before. So good changes to these tweaks. I think power up is maybe pickable if you just have a team that rushes down fast enough. Maybe, it's close. Reliable was bumped to 8 points instead of 6. Makes sense. This is a very good blessing, especially for Blurcha. Big Hitter 11 is now a thing. It's now the 1-point Big Hitter curse. This only affects, I believe, Tyrantus and Dragon. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. So, it's not too bad. Still kind of yucky, though. There's a new 2-point curse called Hefty. This is the top non-magic hero at heavy to all sides. So, interesting for sure. I've played a bit of it with Fortran. It doesn't seem too bad. There's now a Fight 8 curse. So before Fight 8, choose a tier 5 or 4 curse. It's not too bad for a 3 to take a 4 instead, but you know, obviously it's not very great for your 3-point curse to actually be a 5. There's some new tweaks. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting into the new stuff. New tweaks. There's Strained Top. This is an interesting one. All heroes and monsters plus 2 pips and add Exert to the top side. I don't know about this one. It's not bad depending on your team, and exerting monsters is sometimes pretty sick. Like, I don't know, you like, let's take an example. Let's see how bad Hexia is, right? This is a 6 Petrify. That is pretty brutal, but Hexia takes a full turn off. That's not very bad. Dragon, who cares? Madness, who cares? Oh yeah, Madness. I'll go over the enemy changes in a second here. Trantis, it's pretty brutal. Troll King, it's pretty brutal. Hand, it's actually not too bad. A lot of these, it doesn't matter that much. I don't know. I think this might be a pickable tweak, but a lot of tweaks look pickable, and then you find the case where they just kill you and they aren't anymore. So we'll see on this one, but I think it's maybe pickable. It'll depend though. Ting, speaking of pickable tweaks, so this is all monster. The outermost HP must be removed individually. And then all heroes add rampage to the middle column. Very interesting tweak. If you have something like, I don't know, you can do 1 to all, or like you have Vine to get rid of the stone HP pretty cheaply, you just get rampage. I don't know. It feels like you could maybe pick this in some situations. There's a new tier 4 blessing called Me First. All heroes add first to all sides, so ×2 if no dice have been used. So pretty cool little blessing. Pipe Dream is now no longer a tweak, and now it's just a blessing. It adds sprint to the middle 2 sides. It's pretty bad, but maybe you do something cool. Alright, as for stuff that was removed for the modifiers, I probably missed some here for sure. So Anticlimax is gone, Heavy Dice 4 is gone, Sickly is gone. Sickly is if you were 1 HP and dying, that's just not a thing anymore. And then Doom on the 8th turn is gone. Sorry, I maybe should talk about what Anticlimax did for those of you who never saw it. This was replace the final fight with just 1 illusion. It's a pretty good blessing, but I'm sad to see it go. Alright, I think that is everything. How long is this video? 1 hour and 6 minutes. Oh god. Yeah, that definitely ran a little longer than I thought it would. I love yapping about Slice and Dice though, and hopefully this was somewhat interesting. I believe that is every change for the heroes, monsters, items, and modifiers. Of course, there's some other small differences. Yeah, overall, I think this is an amazing update. Very, very happy. Good little balance changes. Can't wait to play and learn the new meta. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was just a lot of yapping. And not a whole lot of gameplay, but hopefully you enjoyed listening to this. It wasn't exactly visually interesting. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. See ya.